Alrighty everyone, well game number 3 in this best of 5 series has been nothing shy of amazing and an incredible matchup between two of the best in StarCraft 2 with the Protoss pieces. Spawning here in the top right hand corner of Lost and Found Ellie, playing with the blue Protoss pieces. He's currently down, but certainly not out of the series just yet. His name is Neeb. And his opponent spawning in the bottom left hand corner of the map, playing with the red Protoss pieces. He's currently up in this series and wants to finish this series off right here and right now. His name is MaNa. So guys and girls, this series has been one, as I said, that's been just absolutely incredible series between two of the best that the Protoss race has to offer us when it comes to the StarCraft 2 pro scene. These two players are absolutely incredible, and you know, in this series it's been very interesting because what I've noticed in games 1 and 2 was game 1, MaNa was able to throw his opponent off by completely not going for the natural nexus and instead just being aggressive on the opposite side of the map. And so I think that was the one thing that Neeb did improperly, was did not scout to see that that natural nexus never went down. But then in game number 2, MaNa, even though with the scouting by Neeb, it just came down to better micro by MaNa. MaNa has been playing out of his mind in this series so far, which was played, by the way, at the WCS in Austin and was one of the round of 16 games in that tournament. So absolutely insane, just absolutely insane play by by really MaNa especially. I gotta say though, Neeb in game number 2 played pretty good defense, but he was just overall just outplayed a little bit by his opponent. So with that said, let's talk about what both our players are deciding to do here in game number 3. And it looks like Neeb's going for the double gateways into that cybernetics core, and it looks like the same can be said on the opposite side of the map with MaNa. The big question though, and the storyline here is really, to me, is on Neeb. How do you get back in this series? What do you got to do against MaNa? Do you go for a little bit of some cheese yourself, or do you continue playing the macro-focused game? And that's what I think we're going to probably find out here shortly, as to what is it that Neeb is going to end up doing in this game to try to get a win in the, get in the win column here, and at least try to do a little bit of some damage to his opponent. It does look like a couple of these stalkers have made their way across the map. They are going to be met by 2 stalkers of MaNa's own, as well as a couple of sentries. And a lot of this, this matchup is so much about, so many different mind games that go into this matchup. The PvP matchup is a very interesting one, to say the least. But nonetheless, it looks like Neeb is going to go for that natural nexus. The same can be said for MaNa. And it looks like, once again, Neeb is planning on trying to get a little bit aggressive once again in this game. And I like the decision a lot by Neeb to try to get a little bit aggressive. That warp gate is going to be a research in less than a few seconds for MaNa, and the same can be said for Neeb. So it looks like he's going to try to target fire down and do a little bit of some damage. A couple of those force fields go down. 1 stalker is lost. But all that said and done, nothing too crazy as of yet. And one thing I gotta say that I would like to see Neeb do more of in this game is I would love to see him get aggressive and stay aggressive throughout the game. It's felt that in the past, in these past couple of games, it's felt that MaNa has been the one really dictating the pace. And I think when you do that, when a player of the likes of MaNa, who is absolutely going to try and dictate the pace of the game, he is going to most likely be able to obtain victory as time goes, simply because it's just you have to do be aggressive at some point or another. And once again, we are seeing MaNa is going to start moving across the map here with a nice little sized army here that could do a little bit of some damage. Now, we are going to see a lot of shield batteries going down. So that said, it does look like Neeb knows something is coming. We are going to see some more stalkers warped in, but here we go. It's all going to come down to the engagement here. Now, beautiful force fields on both sides of the map. A couple of these sentries are stuck on Neeb's end, but at the same time, these Phoenixes could be really, really helpful. But just like that, it looks like there are going to be some, you know, some toying back and forth by both these players. Some more warp-ins are going to be coming in by MaNa, and this army is going to be a little is going to still try to be a little bit aggressive here, and I like it a lot. MaNa is not allowing his opponent to really get anywhere. Beautiful pickup micro once again. MaNa is not just, he is not going to allow his units to just die for nothing. He is going to force them to get some sort of value out of them. And here we go. Once again, they're going back and forth here. Both players are kind of trading blows. Beautiful pickup here on that Immortal. That Immortal is going to, oh my god, get picked up in the nick of time by MaNa. And it looks like this army is going to be forced back home. But beautiful pickup micro there by MaNa, not allowing that Immortal to die. Just really nicely played. But I gotta say, gotta give props there to Neeb for just the hold there. I mean, he's got 4 of these shield batteries, so, you know, quite an investment, but it did pay off there for him simply because he was able to force MaNa back home, and that's exactly what you want to do if you're going up against MaNa. You got to be able to, you got to do that. And I gotta say, I'm really surprised how well MaNa has been playing in this series against Neeb. I mean, Neeb, we're talking one of the best Protoss players out there. He's a lot of fun to watch. He's very good at what he does. And at this point, he's been outsmarted in at least the first couple of games. So, in this game, it seems like Neeb is kind of, he's actually able to do something, right? He's able to really kind of somewhat play that defense, get a little bit aggressive very early on in the game. And here we go. It looks like Neeb is going to try to do a little bit of some damage here in the main base location. There is a shield battery beautifully placed here, so it doesn't look like a whole heck of a lot of damage was dealt as of yet. So Neeb is going to be forced to go ahead and pick up, and then you've got, of course, Neeb going for that 3rd Nexus at this point. And once again, I'm wondering to myself, is MaNa going to allow this to happen? And if anything, as far as I'm concerned, I don't feel he is not just going to allow this 3rd Nexus to go up when he finds out about it, which he might have already found out about it, but I mean, we're seeing a nice sized army is going to start moving across the map. Blink is going to be researched in less than 10 seconds, and we're going to be seeing an army of Stalkers, Sentries, and Immortals, as well as a couple Adepts, moving in the direction of that 3rd Nexus. And they're going to try 100% to get the cancel on this, and it looks like that's exactly what he's planning on doing. It looks like we're going to have, once again, another engagement here. Beautiful force fields are going to try to do what they can, and we're going to have some beautiful pickup micro actually by Neeb as well. But a couple of these units are forced in, and it looks like that Blink comes in, and the Blink is going to jump right on top of those Immortals as well as those Sentries. Oh my god, once again, MaNa is really going all out here, trying to do as much damage as possible. The question is he overextending at this point? And it looks like right now he's going to get that 3rd Nexus, and he's also going to, get a good amount of value out of this army. And it looks like he may very well not be done yet. He might start moving towards that natural expansion. Now, you got to be careful, though, because you do have all these shield batteries are going to be here, and that Archon is going to be able to do a little bit of some damage as well. But here we go. It all comes down to the micro, at least at this point in the game, with all of this damage that is going down. I don't know if I like Neeb moving out and trying to challenge this. I feel like he should be back and fighting this at in the safety of his own home here, and that was getting a little bit scary. I was not liking that engagement there by Neeb. But nonetheless, here we go. It does look like MaNa is going to start moving in. He is going to blink into the main base location. Going to try to do as much damage as he possibly can. Here we go. It's going to all come down to that pickup micro. He is going to kind of slow down the production, at least to this point. And Neeb, of course, is not out of this thing just yet. He's definitely alive and well in this game, but you just got to be very careful because of those shield batteries can just do so, can really be so helpful for a Protoss player. So that all said, third Nexus is going down for MaNa. He's also got the Robotics Bay coming in, so it looks like he might be going for the Colossus, and I absolutely love that decision. MaNa is just... He's just playing his game. He's kind of dictating the pace of this game, as I was saying. You know, Neeb is trying to get as many angles as he possibly can. But it's just, at this point, it's just, it doesn't seem to be working very well. And I would love to see Neeb once again get aggressive. And it looks like he is going to start moving out. And I love this decision a lot because he's going to start moving out. And MaNa, it looks like MaNa is going to start going for the Disruptors. Okay, so he's going for Disruptors. Okay, I like that decision, actually, for the Disruptors at this point in the game. And I think that could do a lot of damage to this army composition of Adepts, Immortal, as well as, you know, a Sentry and an Archon and a couple of Stalkers. So they're going to start moving out, as in, you know, Neeb's army is moving out. And it looks like now MaNa is going to have to play his own defense. And we've been starting to see a little bit of some overextensions by both these players in the first couple of games. So, the question is what do you do at this point? Here we go. It does look like Neeb is going to start pushing that third Nexus at this point. But the question is, oh, that Disruptor does go down. Beautiful play there by Neeb getting that Disruptor. But at the same time, it looks like this could very well be an all-in assault by Neeb at this point. The question is it going to be a little bit of an overextension? He is doing some damage, but you got to be very, very careful. It does look like MaNa split his army up perfectly, and it looks like he's going to try to start jumping on this army. A lot of Adepts, though, are doing the damage needed. It looks like MaNa's supply is absolutely plummeting. Oh my god, could Neeb get on the scoreboard at this point in the game? It's hard to tell at this point because he is doing a lot of damage. The question, though, that remains to me is this going to be an overextension by Neeb? Neeb has got a massive lead at this point. It looks like this is going to get cleaned up at some point or another. Beautiful blink there going after this Archon. This Archon is starting to do a lot of damage. And once again, here we go. Neeb is going for more damage. He's going to go after some of these units, but he's kind of throwing these units away at this point. Beautiful pickup micro there by MaNa. I don't know. I don't know if I liked the overextension there by Neeb. It felt like he overextended a little bit. And, you know, he didn't even get this third Nexus. I feel like he could have just went ahead, taken out that third Nexus, and it would have been all good. But now you've got Stalkers moving across the map here for MaNa. And I think he's going to go after this third third Nexus once again. And we've been seeing overextension after overextension by both these players. Now the Disruptor hits. Oh my god, you got to be very careful with those Disruptor hits. The Disruptors are out, and they're going to try to do as much damage as possible. Just got to be so careful. Look at the blue blood on the ground. Oh, the destruction. Beautiful play. Oh, beautiful pickup micro. MaNa is absolutely on top of the pickup micro right now. Absolutely incredible. Now here we go. Disruptor hits. Oh my god. The amount of damage these Disruptor hits are starting to do. Taking out an Archon. And now you just got to be so careful. You do not want to lose these units. And this third Nexus now is starting to take a little bit of some damage. You got to be very careful. The Blink right on top of the Immortal. Oh my god, the amount of damage that is now being dealt. The tides are turning. Everything now is going in favor of MaNa, who is doing a good amount of damage. But you gotta be careful, though. You do not want to overextend. We have been seeing this has been a series of overextensions, and GG is called, and Neeb decides to GG out of that game, which you may think to yourselves, guys, that was a premature GG out of Neeb. but he saw that his supply was plummeting. Wasn't plummeting, but he knew MaNa was in the lead. He knew that MaNa was going to continue the aggression, and there just was not much of an answer for Neeb for those disruptors. So MaNa wins this series and moves on to the round of 8. I hope you guys did enjoy this game and this series between MaNa and Neeb. And if you guys did, leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, stay positive, and as always, I'll talk to you guys all in the next one. Peace.